Hello and welcome to the Depot Systems 5 system overview. We will be doing a brief overview of the major system functions in the system and some of the add-on modules that we also have available for the software system. The Depot System 5 product is a Microsoft Windows product running with .NET and Microsoft SQL databases. And we do offer complete cloud hosting for supporting the system and doing all support, EDI, and everything is built into the system directly. Starting in the system, we have M&R, which is maintenance and repair work for containers, chassis, and gensets is supported. And the gate system for managing your in-yard equipment and gate ins, gate outs, bookings, redeliveries for leasing companies, and manifest for loaded units that are coming in. On the main menu, there are several tabs of submenus. User security can be set up so that you can set them to just see one or more of these menus to narrow down the amount of items that they would need to see and the amount of items that they can access in the system. We are going to go to Utilities. And the first thing that we normally set up for people is the depot or terminal locations that they would have. We sell per terminal location. Each location can have as many users and computers as you like. And we can put in the contact information and some basic settings for each one of these locations. Locations could be added on at any time as needed. We can set up users in the system. You can have as many users as you like, and each user is tied to a location so that a user can see all locations if they're an administrator, or be tied to just one or more locations that they directly manage. We do currently support English and Spanish. In the future, we hope to have some more language support also added to the system. There is a lot of security levels and switches that could be set per user to control security. These are the settings to control the menus. With our optional website add-on, you can also set up allowing users to access the website and what accounts they can see. We have time controls, fleet controls, signatures for interchanges. And with our tablet add-on system, you can also create users and control security for the tablets. Also in the system, we have repair damage controls that can be created and managed, trucker or carrier codes that can be created or managed, and we also support with truckers that you could send them emails for each gate that they do. To have automatic emailing of interchanges, and we support blocking truckers on accounts that they are not allowed to have access to anymore. We can support driver database tables, and we can also support fleet management. In the system, we use the account screen to set up the accounts that your depots will manage. An account to our software is normally a steamship line, container leasing company, or a chassis pool. An account can also be for your own equipment or for other customers that you might store any type of containers or trailers or anything like that that you want to handle. In this example, for the steamship line, we have different accounting settings that we can do, and some different accounting exports that we can do, and we can set up default reports. We also have a report scheduler where you can set up reports to be on a scheduled basis to be sent to different emails, different times. Everything can also send as PDF or Excel, and there's EDI that we can set up for you, email, and a number of different settings per account. We can support different condition codes for what you consider to be good or bad order. And we also can support a system of unit charges that can be done if you need to do additional charges for containers that are not M&R related. We have different settings for leasing companies and also for rentals. That is an optional module that you can purchase for the system too. In North America, we support all of the chassis pools and can tie chassis pool accounts back to container accounts to release equipment in the system. Within the M&R settings, we have a number of different settings for doing M&R work, including different labor rates, tax rates, tariff controls in different EDI formats, approval controls, different types of prints, and also the EDI that we would set up for you. There's also some miscellaneous settings for fleet management, e-modal, and some connections to different trucking systems. You can have as many accounts as you want per depot location, and there's no limit to them. And there's also a set of storage rates that can be done for each account to manage how you will do storage invoicing. You can set up a storage rate for each size and type, and inside the rate you can have daily charges, gate charges, free days, lift on, lift off charges, and then we can also have different charges for loads and some demurrage type charges that we have down here. There's also some tabs with some other things that can be done for each account to be able to control the storage invoice charges that you would do for that customer. So the account screen is something that is used a lot in the beginning to get your customers set up for what your needs are, and then once it's up and running, this is used to be able to do your gate ins and your M&R repair work each day. For the gate side of Depot Systems 5, we have the gate in, gate out, equipment management, and the other buttons that you see on the screen here. So if we're doing a gate in into the system, we can put in a container, just making up a number here, and it will check the check digit and tell you if it thinks anything's wrong with this number or not. You can select the account that you want to gate this into. So we have a number of accounts we can pick from that we've set up. We can pick a size type for this unit. If you're using chassis or wheel sets, you can enter in that number. If it's a gen set and that's enabled for the account, you can put in gen sets. You can pick a trucking company, and you have your date and time that can be used. That can also be backdated if it's not live. We support loaded units, so it can be import load, export load, pre-booked with a booking or bill of lading number, seals, weight, all the things that you may need for loaded containers to come in. We can support empty pre-booked containers coming in, reefer genset information, tank information, vessel voyage, and container leasing company if you're doing leasing companies. If you're using our rail module, there's some different rail stuff that could be done too. So for the basics for a gate, this is all we need, is at least one piece of equipment, the carrier that brought it in, and a date and time for that move to be able to save this into the system. If you are printing, saving and printing, it will print an interchange copy that can be given to the driver, and everything saves into the system. If we have configured EDI for you, your EDI will send within 10 minutes to the steamship line automatically, and will update their system with the gate in or gate out information. From the equipment screen, you can manage the equipment that is in your depot. You will see all the accounts that you're allowed to have access to, and there's a number of different ways to search. You can go by location, account, size, all these different switches. So I'm going to search for this account. I can see everything that has been in this account that's in yard. I can tell if they're empties or loads from the screen right here. And in the lower section down here, I can ground boxes, mount them with wheel sets, ground or mount gen sets as needed. and be able to do other functions against anything that's in yard from the controls down here. I can see the one that we just ingated just now for our testing. I can click on it to open it and see all the details on this unit. If I need to edit something, I can. We can come in here and set any settings we need to. We can set lot locations of where that container is in the yard. We can also reprint or email the interchanges as needed. This is our generic interchange format. And my login has a signature saved, so it'll always put my signature on it automatically. And from here we can email directly with images or other documents if needed, or we could straight send to the printer whatever we want to do with that print. All of our grids that you see on the screen can also be sorted, filtered, and you can print or export to Excel. You can also modify the layout by pushing the columns around on the screen and hit Save Layout, and that will save the columns in the order that you'd like to see them for the type of equipment that you manage. So we also have the booking system. So all equipment leaving the yard must have a booking or a release number per account, and you can have unlimited bookings in the system. We also support getting EDI bookings. So if a steamship line can supply EDI bookings, which many of the major ones can, they will automatically feed into your system and just appear in the screen as they come in. If we open a booking, we can release 1 to 9,999 units on a booking. We can assign available equipment to the booking, and we can see the damage statuses and also have settings that will also only allow you to use good order equipment on a booking. You can set reefer temps and other things against each one so that it will have to have that on the gate out, and you can assign it to a carrier or leave that open for what you want to do. So we can handle a number of different booking scenarios, and whether it's containers, chassis, or gensets is not an issue. We also have an optional driver lift queue, and if you get that optional package, this gives you the ability to create pickup tickets that are coming into the yard so that a driver can have a ticket assigned for what they're going to get. And then if you're using tablets on the lifts, you can see what needs to be lifted on and off, and also be able to track and log the time of drivers that are in your yard. From the lift queue tab, we could see who is in the yard and be able to manage this. We have a lot of stuff from testing in here, but this is what you basically can see for what is going on in your yard at that time. We also support redeliveries or terminations, which are the releases or acceptance to have a container be allowed to come into your yard. So it could be a container or it could be a chassis. Normally the container leasing companies use this. You can have the acceptances be set up to be per unit number, or be an open acceptance that you can take in so many units before it maxes out. And there's a number of different things that could be put in for the delivery, for DPP, contract numbers, things like that. And this could be tied to any account in the system. We also have import screens for most of these major screens. So if you're receiving redeliveries or bookings or anything like that via an Excel spreadsheet, you can cut and paste that information, or add the Excel spreadsheet from here into this list and be able to import things in file format into the system as needed to. We also support manifesting. A manifest for us is anything that you're expecting to receive at the gate in the near future, and this will, as you're gating in, it will see this unit and it will then acknowledge that this is okay to take in. You have a manifest, and it will bring in any of the other details on this unit. So the weight, the seal, bill of lading, information like that could be pulled into the system for you to save input time and give you better accuracy for what you're gating into the system. The reporting system, there's a number of default reports that come with the system, but there are more that can be added at any time. This is all database driven. Everything has a report number, so we can take any report in the system, copy it, and then modify it to be a custom report at any time on the fly. So we can take a report, we can run for everything at a depot, or just for one account at a depot. I did a test unit a few minutes ago for this account. We could change our date range if needed or other settings. All reports come up in a preview window first. You can see it here. You can send it via email. You can send it as PDF. You can print it. You can do direct exports to a number of different formats. So all the reports are customizable in the system, and additional custom reports could be created at any time. We also support data import of gate ins and gate outs. The gate ins is especially useful for starting off a new system to pull in your starting inventory that you already have in yard. Can also be used if you're having to do an off-site process where you have a list of units in an Excel format that you would like to pull in or be able to do outbounds on. The gate out process, very similar to gate in, except for it's requiring a booking number or release number to let anything out of the yard. And then once you're getting that release into the system, you can pick your equipment that's going to go out. If your equipment is already pre-assigned, you can go right to putting in the equipment numbers to let it out and not have to put the booking in first. So there's a number of different options for how this can be done, but everything that leaves must have a booking or release to go out of the yard. For the M&R portion of the system, which is the maintenance and repair estimating of containers and other equipment, we have what we call the IEC, which is the Invoice Estimate Center. You can see all of your invoices estimates listed on the screen. You can search by accounts in different statuses of what you're looking for in the system. Then we have different tabs for sending EDI, printing in bulk, being able to reprint or email in bulk, some import and export options that we have. So any of these estimates, you can see the status if it's an E or an I for an estimate or an invoice, the amounts, and if it has repair dates, unit numbers, etc. If I look at a repair estimate in the system, double click it. You can select, as you're making estimates, you're picking the account. It'll have the default labor rate or additionals if you need them. You can assign a mechanic at any time during the process. There's different statuses that can be set. These statuses can also be changed in your system as per your needs. You can create estimates, invoices for containers, chassis, gensets, and some other miscellaneous types that we have here. If it's for Maersk, you can pick the modes. We can tie estimates to units in yard so that it updates that unit in yard, or you can have a standalone estimate that is not connected to anything in yard for doing work that is off-site, or if you're just a repair vendor and not running a depot. As you're entering your line items, you can pick items or part numbers or jobs as we call them here, or you can search by description. As you type, it will find what you're looking for. Once you pick your item, you can price it if it's not already priced for you. Depending on the customer and the EDI format that you need, this section will change. This is for Maersk, So if you want this to be able to feed the Maersk Plus system, you will have to be able to put in the codes that Maersk requires. They have 4-digit numbers, which are in this pick list. They have a lot of different parts, which this is a very short parts list that you see here, but that can also be populated into the system fully, in damage codes and responsibility codes. You can set up an item with your pricing and with your coding that you need. You can use these buttons here to save those codes so that the next time you put in this item or this description, all of this will come up just the same, so you don't have to retype it every time. As you start to do this, you're building a tariff of all your common work that you do, and then the system starts to run faster and faster for your input. Once you make a change, you can hit update it, you can add another line, continue on. You can print work orders, you can print estimates. Need to pick a mechanic. Oops, saved it, should have printed it. When you print an estimate, this is what our default print looks like. You can modify this. We can change this, change logos, change all of that. We can also email any of the estimates, and we can attach pictures or other documents with the emails too as needed. If you are doing EDI for a customer, you can put in a batch of estimate work that you're doing. Then when ready, you can do the send EDI, pick your account, it'll show you everything that's going to send, and it will send as a batch. If you would like the system to automatically send, that can be set up to do that. Batch mode is what most people do currently. Anything can be changed to an invoice estimate. There's some different controls for approval levels to set statuses automatically. And you can assign things, estimates, invoices for mechanics to repair at any time too. Since Depot System supports all the common EDI formats that are used, when we open up an estimate, depending on the customer settings, if they are a CDEX WestM EDI type, as this customer is, you will see the boxes changed here, so they are different than the Maersk boxes that we just saw in the last estimate. So now you're going to get just the codes that go for this type of repair for this customer, and different component lists and things depending on what you're doing. This is a chassis repair, so it's only showing us chassis components for what we're doing here. In this one, I can see is tied to an interchange. So if I save this, it's going to want to connect to this unit and yard, and it'll let us update the unit status. So we could change it to that it's under repair or awaiting approval, different statuses too from here. We also support AAR formatting. So on this one, XPO is primarily an AAR format. So you will see the AAR job types here to pick from. So this is controlled, as you see, by each customer. We can support multiple formats in the system at once. You can add parts, create parts basically from the estimate screen, and also manage the codes if you need to create new codes. And everything in this grid is also sortable, filterable, and can be exported to Excel or printed at any time. We also have some reports for the M&R system, some default ones for invoice estimate reporting, some mechanic reports, and we have other custom reports that can be dropped in as needed for this too. We do support mechanics. Oops, wrong one. You can add mechanics and you can tie them to locations, and then those mechanics can be used into the estimates, so then you can have mechanic tracking and be able to do more reporting on mechanics and productivity numbers too. Okay, last couple of things so we can get this wrapped up and move on to a couple of minutes of tablet overview. the system, we also have an optional rail module, which we are doing for North American railroads at this time, where we can do rail arrivals, rail departures, and manifesting for rail. We are able to receive and send EDI for North American railroads at this time. So this is something that can be added onto the system. We also have a rental system where you can rent containers, chassis, gensets. What we are doing with this is, as it's gating in or gating out, we can track the rental process to track it on the street, and have some different build to options for how that these units would bill out to people, and that works with any type of equipment too. And that is also fleet based, that we would put your rental equipment inside of the fleet so that it knows what equipment you have for doing the rental process. In the accounting tab, we can do storage, rental, and unit charge invoices. And if you're doing the rail module, we do have some rail invoice options. But for the storage invoice, you can pick a depot, you can do a single account or multiple accounts. You can do a range on your date, and we have different types of billing if you don't want to do it all on one bill. It's a number of different options and some billing period options that we have. You can do a display. It'll show you all the accounts that need to have any valid billing right now. You could do as a report or an invoice. We're going to view this. We can see our invoice in the window here. This could be printed or emailed via Excel or PDF. The first page is an overview of all the size types and the charges, and if there's loaded charges, grand totals, and then pages 2 and on are the equipment details. So you could see each unit, days in yard, and any charges that go with it. We do have a couple of different formats for this print, and custom prints could also be done if needed too. All of our invoicing kind of works the same way. If it was a unit charges invoice, it's the same thing. You're grouping by an account or a depot, get your accounts, get all the charges that you need to do to be able to do that. That's how everything lays out. These save into the invoicing system and then can be exported to accounting later. Depot Systems also has a Windows tablet add-on that can be purchased. Currently just running on Windows tablets, but it has all the features needed to be doing gate ins, gate outs, and repair estimating in the field. There's a lot of options that can be done on the tablets. User security is controlled from the PC version, so you can control who can access it and what options they can use within the tablet. We do download the parts list and the customer list to the tablet so that they are cached locally, so that you can work offline a little bit. But we really need what I will call a quality internet connection, either Wi-Fi or cellular phone data based, to make a connection back to the server when you're saving or checking unit numbers or saving estimates. We do not cache and hold gates or estimates throughout the day and then save them at a later time. We need everything to save once each one is completed. So we have a few different modules in here. For the gate module, we have gate in, gate out. You can bring up units to change the status, set the location where they're at in the yard, be able to change the condition on units, some genset information, load information, some various things you can do, including adding additional pictures or mounting or grounding units if you are handling chassis at your location. The gate out works the same as the gate out PC. You're using a booking release or a unit number to gate out. You can take pictures on the gate out. You can also take pictures on the gate in of damages coming in. So there's a number of different options that we can do from here. So if we're putting in a container number, It will check it in the system to verify if it's okay or not, or do a equipment fleet master check at this point. And we can pick our account, and we can pick a size type. If we want to pick damages, if we have damage pick lists set up, we can pick areas of the unit. I can say door, so I can say cam keeper, bent. There's a lot of options on here. Just to save time, I'm going to say install. So there's different pictures for different areas, which will bring back the CDEX coding that's needed for EDI later. Here's my damage. Can take a picture. It's asking me to select a camera. So there's a picture coming out of the camera that this tablet is tied to. I can snap a picture, save it, and go back and continue on and take more pictures later if needed. The pictures have the unit number and date and timestamp embedded into the picture that we're taking as they save, and this will save back to the system with this unit. I'm going to pick a trucking company, and I'm going to put in a driver. And this is the minimum basics that I need to do a gate. If I had a chassis or a genset with this, I could enter it. If I wanted to enter reefer information or anything else, I could. And deliveries, any of this other information could be used as needed. We can get a signature. Save it. So that's saved back to the system. And I could go back and see this would be live in the system now, and within a couple minutes the EDI would send out automatically on that unit. Also on the tablet, we do have a lift queue, which is an optional add-on that goes along with the driver lift queue that we mentioned in the PC software. If you have tablets in your lifts, you would be able to see the pending lift-on, lift-offs that need to be done. You can see details on it, and as they're lifting these, putting them on the ground, they can mark the locations of where they're placing the units to keep your yard location straight too. So once they hit the green button, it would be flagged as the lift was completed. That goes into the table in the system, so that you can also have a turn time of how long these operations are taking to happen. We also have the estimating system in here. So you see all of the estimates in the IEC, the Invoice Estimate Center on the tablet, the same way that you would see them on the PC. We can create new estimates on the tablet, or we can edit an existing one. Here's the account. Here's the unit information. You can set the mechanic from here too. Here's the line items that were picked for damages. If we want to edit that, we can edit our pricing. We can edit our EDI coding. We can change anything here and also add additional pictures from here. You can update that repair back to complete this back to the system. So anything can be managed from here, and invoice statuses can also be changed from the screen. Jumping back to the PC software, this is the gate in that we did on the tablet. I'm going to open up this record. I can see our status. If I click here, I can see the damages that were picked for a container, chassis, or genset with the remarks that were entered. We can also reprint this interchange. If you're using hip printers with the mobile format, you can see the long skinny print. If you're using laser printers, you'll get the full laser, full page format. Signatures here, damages is here. Everything that we did is on this interchange. We can also go to the images, and here is the picture that we took from that gate in, so all the pictures would be on here too. So everything ties together from the tablet coming back into the system. EDI would automatically send. You can continue managing this equipment from the PC after this. And that concludes this software overview. This is our normal presentation that we do for people when reviewing, doing an online session. We got this condensed down into the shortest amount of time, so I hope it wasn't too long. There is a few more features and things in there, and the software is changing all the time with additions and custom programming that we're doing. So if you'd like to get any more information, please let us know, and we can also schedule a full running demo trial system for you to try out too. Thank you very much.